In this episode, I interviewed Lefthouse as he is premiering the very first feature film in the Upland Metaverse. We discussed how he got his film to be featured in Upland and how creative artists can utilize the Upland platform to share their creative works. As an early adopter, we discussed how Upland has progressed from the early days, as Lefthouse recalls Block Explorers being a new feature when he joined. And now he shares what he hopes will become new features to help other artists utilize the Metaverse cafes, which are powered by Nowhere. Hope you enjoyed this episode. So, Lefthouse, we're going to start with rapid fire questions. When did you first join Upland?
April 6, 2020.
So you're coming up on 4 years. I'm coming up on 3 years. So happy Upland anniversary soon.
Yeah,
What is
same
your
to you.
home? What is your home neighborhood in Upland?
Home neighborhood is Buena Vista, I think is where my main home is right now.
That's in San Francisco?
Yeah, in San Francisco.
Okay,
In
great.
the neighborhood of Buena Vista.
Upland is known as the Play, Earn, and Connect Metaverse. When you started to play Upland, how did you split up your energies into the play versus earn versus connect in terms of a percentage?
Oh my gosh. I would it's 30 30 30 or 33 33 33 I'd say.
Okay. And when you look at yourself now, almost 4 years later, how would you answer that same question? Play versus earn versus connect.
Play versus earn. I don't know. I still kind of say it's strangely the same, even though things have changed. Everything's changed, but it's still everything's still the same.
Okay. What was your last purchase in Upland?
Oh, I bought 4 properties in South Tahoe last night.
And what is your favorite partnership that Upland currently has?
Favorite partnership that Upland currently has. I mean, it might have to be with me with the theater.
Oh, that's a good answer. I was thinking you'd say no, the partnership with Nowhere, but I guess
Oh,
the
that's
answer.
even better. Yeah, I can't do the theater without Nowhere. You're right. That's the answer. That's
Well,
the right answer.
it all combines together. I mean, your partnership is great as well, and that obviously
Yeah,
Nowhere
no,
is an
that's
integral part with that. And
most important.
so you've got your movie coming out on Upland. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and about the movie that's coming out, and then we'll jump into what that means with Nowhere and Upland as well.
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm a filmmaker. I've been a writer and a director and an actor for a long time. Rabbit Hole is the name of the film that we're playing in the theater on Monday, and it's my 8th feature film, and it is very crypto-centric as it definitely takes place in the crypto space.
How did you get involved in Upland 4 years ago?
Oh, I was like searching the internet for crypto games and stumbled into like an ad or something or somebody like an article that somebody wrote in one of those blogs.
So many people think that as me as the provider of a lot of information and helping people, that I was a very early adopter of Upland, but you came in even a year before me, and you had mentioned that block explorers were new for you. So tell me about that. Like, what was the experience of playing Upland at the extremely beginning?
Well, apparently I think I showed up right after Block Explorers were made. So I didn't know that there was a time when there wasn't a Block Explorer. So when somebody mentioned that to me, I was like my mind basically melted. I was like, well, how did you get around the board then? And I still don't know how they got around. I don't know what you did without a Block Explorer. How did you go to a prop? I don't know. But yeah, like I'm trying to think, like we were saying, I was there when it was only one city. So it was really exciting to see, when they started adding new cities. It just felt like, here we go. There's been like so many moments where you get like really excited about Upland, but then it's like, oh, then we have to sort of wait for things to happen or for time to go. Technology takes a while. We were running into like in the early days when there'd be a launch, sometimes the system would get all like bogged down and stuff, and it was really difficult at times back then.
Yeah, I remember
But
those days as
yeah, it's
well.
come a long, long way.
Absolutely.
There was no, you couldn't even build buildings back then.
Yeah, there was no spark. There were no partnerships. There was nothing.
No
Just buying
spark.
properties. Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's hard to, yeah. I mean, that being here for as long, it's you almost forget how much stuff has happened.
Yeah, so you as a filmmaker, when you came across Upland, what was your initial thought? Sure, it's great that you can come and you can play, do some treasure hunting, try and make some money, and connect with other people. But as a filmmaker, what did you think when you first saw the Upland metaverse?
Yeah, well, I got into the crypto space around 2017, like a lot of people did, and it was just reading one white paper after another from all these different companies, and I was just like seeing like how the technology and everything was going to like infect the film industry, the entertainment industry, and so, the idea of running a digital theater, like I wanted to do it as soon as I saw Up, and I was like, I got what it was, I got where it was going, what they wanted to do with it, and I was like, I want to do a theater here. And so that was like, I think I got into a conversation with Derek like almost in that first week or so. I reached out, or somebody put me in touch with him. I can't remember how it went down, but like I was like, yeah, I want to make a movie theater in your thing, or whatever. So, or I'm sort of like gung ho in that way, where like if I see something in my head, I'll usually try to go after it. So then I made a very early version of it where I had an old art house theater in San Francisco, like a property that I purchased, and it was really cool. Like when I started looking into the real history of this place, it was like around since the early 1900s, and then cut to the 80s, it was like all these indie films, and Weird Al Yankovic like was playing music out of there and stuff, and I was like, I bought the right place for me, this is amazing. But it's way too small for it to put the actual theater building on, or else I would have gone with that property. But yeah, they were like, no, it's way too small. I'm like, okay. So I ran like a very hacked version of like a movie theater off of that property. Like you had to send your Block Explorer there. I'd go look at the ledger. It'd send you like a NFT ticket from Wax, and then you'd have to go to a gated room on Discord or something. It's just a mess. Really, really hard, sort of. But it was fun for a minute. But then it was like, okay, we got to do something else. And so, just put it away. And then here we are today, where like they came to me and they're like, do you want to do the movie theater still? And I'm like, yes. They're like, well, the technology's there. I'm like, great. I have a movie that I'm just about to release. I was actually going to premiere it on a different blockchain, on OmniFlix first. I'm still going to put it out on there, but I was like, no, I got to do Upland first. It's got to be the way. Like this has been the dream since the beginning. So the fact that it gets to happen is mind blowing.
I think it's really interesting that you said, all of these hoops that you were trying to create because Upland wasn't able to provide you with what you needed in order to do what you wanted to do. And you were
Mm-hmm.
sending at people NFTs on Wax, and you had something going on with Discord as well. And, that just goes to show that if you have an idea, you can always find something to take half a step forward and progress that idea. And I think that there are people in Upland that are expecting Upland to just come and provide you with absolutely everything. You really do have to go and show initiative and make these steps in order to advance what you're trying to do. And, 4 years later, we're seeing now since you joined that the technology is here and you're able to create your vision within the Upland metaverse. And Upland it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I think that there are a lot of people that really don't see that. And especially, this is a great example of you as an OG coming in with only block explorers, no Spark, no US dollars out, the very beginning. And we can just see the development of the metaverse to where it is right now. And we're able to start. You're launching the very first movie in Upland, and I hope it goes extremely successfully. But again, this is just the very beginning, and there's going to be additional ways and features for people like yourself to continue to grow and create your presence and provide other people with value through Upland. And that ties directly in with the Nowhere partnership. Now, when you saw that partnership, I'm curious, like, what went off on your head? It's like, wow, maybe this is the next step in me being able to realize my vision, or what did you think when you saw the partnership with Nowhere and these cafes popping up in Upland?
Yeah, I didn't really understand it, or it didn't really, I didn't ingest it, or it didn't like shock me or surprise me or anything until I was like actually walking through the theater with Max and X1 and like just looking into, I was like, wait a minute. Then it was like I started to like, wait, this is the dream. Like, I started to really realize, and I'd heard of Nowhere and stuff like that before, but I didn't really know the impact or how incredible like their work was. I'd been in some of the other like metaverse type things or whatever, like you mentioned spatial or whatever, and I was just like, all right, cool. But there's something that feel like the Nowhere feels right to me. It feels like Grand Theft Auto-y or something like that. It feels familiar in a way, like they did something with the art that just seems to work, but also it functions. The way they set things up to like hang art on the walls and all that stuff is super user friendly, super easy. Where some of the other ones, maybe you got to be a little bit more art centric or even tech centric. Where this is very, very simple, which was like really exciting to me too, because I was nervous going in there, going like, all right, how long is it going to take me to do this? I was like, am I going to have to learn Blender or what? And I'm like, I guess I could, but it's not necessary at all whatsoever for a cafe owner.
That's great. And I think, looking forward, Upland has said that it's not just going to be movie directors or creators like yourself, but anyone who owns a property are going to be able to allow other people to enter into their house. And maybe you want to
Yeah,
hang a few pieces of art on your home, and the number of pieces of art might be tied into the size of your structure. So,
yeah,
that's a great thing that is most likely also going to be part of the Nowhere partnership is these in-home experiences. So you don't necessarily have to be a big creator, but just anyone can go and decorate the inside of their home. And the
yeah,
fact that what you said of being the ease of being able to post things on your wall and select items to put there is going very well with what Upland is trying to do to keep it super easy. They don't want people to learn Blender if they don't want to. Just being able to easily select a few
yeah.
things and throw it up on your wall. So,
Yeah, wait a minute. I mean, see, that's what I mean. This thing is still crazy, like unfolding for me. Like as you're saying what you're saying, it's like I have stuff up on the walls of the theater right now. You know what I mean? There's videos and art and gifs and everything. Or if you were to walk through right now, they're there. I don't, can anybody else, is there any other buildings that has art on the walls right now? Like any of the other cafes, is that happening over
I
there?
I don't think so. I think it's
Because
just
we're right there then. That's what I mean for everyone. Like we're right on we're cracking the seal.
yeah, yeah.
This is amazing.
I really think that is the case here, and it's super exciting.
So
Um,
exciting.
Yeah. So congratulations on that again. Whether you're watching this video in the next couple of days before the premiere comes out or even afterwards, this is a groundbreaking technological advancement that is happening in the Upland metaverse right now. And
It's
when
insane.
you look back over the last 4 years and all of these features that they've implemented, we can see that Upland is really moving at a fast pace. When you're in it and you're playing it every day, you might not really see it. But when you zoom out and you look at what they've accomplished over the past year, we're heading up towards Genesis Week. They've done a lot. They've got a lot of partnerships. We've got cars coming out, racetracks, transportation, advancements in these Nowhere partnerships as well. Sparklet is coming. Upland is doing a lot all the time, and they're
Yeah.
growing the metaverse. And slowly but surely, we see lots of other pieces of the puzzle coming in. Upland is a property trading game, but there's so much more to the trading of the property itself. If you're a diehard fan of these Lefthouse movies or whatnot, and I want access to you in terms of being able to interact with you in your property or whatever space you set up, I'm going to want to probably own a property close to you because I'm going to have to drive my car and I'm going to have to park it there, and I'm not going to want to pay for parking somewhere else and walk or take other
Yeah.
transportation or take a taxi or whatnot. So I'm going to want to be close to where you are. And that's part of the property trading game as well. It's not just new cities and new properties and new collections. It's about building these communities and being able to have close access to it. just like in the real world. People who want to live downtown because that's where the happenings are, they're going to spend that extra money to live downtown. Someone who doesn't access downtown a lot won't have a problem living in the suburbs. And the same thing is going to be true in the Upland Metaverse. You're going to want to find your community. You're going to want to gravitate to where you want to spend your time. And you're going to invest in a property in that space because that's where you want to be. That's your crew. So I think that's
Yeah.
we're really starting to see that now with these nowhere partnerships and a lot of other things that people can now do with their properties.
Yeah, I mean, as a filmmaker, like I'm super excited to help on board and bring other filmmakers into the space by way of the theater. I've even like there's an online distribution company that I work with that's putting out Rabbit Hole on the mainstream streaming services. I've worked with them for a long time, and they have over 15,000 titles, and they're going to help me curate films for the theater as well. And so I'm like excited for that. That's part of my dream as well too, is to integrate filmmakers into the space and the space into the film business and film world a little bit. So I feel like on that side of things, like I'm excited to take one step closer to that, or to move that along in the world. And like you're saying, it is going fast, but you also said that it's a marathon and not a sprint. And it's hard for new people to understand that. I think that just new people that come into the crypto, because most people, everybody comes here to make money, and they want to do it fast. And the longer you stay and the more you learn, the more you realize, oh, it takes time. Like some people do get rich overnight, but it takes time. And then you start finding things that are really fascinating and beautiful, and you start having passion for. And, that's a lot of why I'm still here, and, know that I'll probably be here as long as there's something to talk about in the crypto. As long as we're saying crypto space, I'll probably be a part of it,
Great. That's
Yeah.
exciting. Now, last question here. I want to ask you, what is the future? What do you see for you in Upland coming up next? This partnership with Nowhere, and you said the integration of being able to put things up on the wall, and this is the first time that we're doing it. So obviously, hopefully things will go smoothly, but I'm sure it's not going to be perfect and it's not your entire vision. But where do we grow from here? What would you like to see coming out as additional features, maybe with Nowhere or maybe with Upland, that can help you advance your vision and the projects that you're trying to create in the Upland Metaverse?
Yeah, I think once the one thing I'm excited for is like being able to like ticketed events, because then I feel like once there's ticketed events, then I can go out and like curate like really great, pull in like some amazing artists, some amazing films, amazing musicians, like all into the space. And I want to have all sorts of events. I want to have film festivals. I want to have art exhibits. I want to do like music events. Like, so I see it for like, this is a complete, an amazing outlet, but I feel like being able to gatekeep it a little bit, like I can probably do a little bit more with it, and I feel like that's probably true for everyone, that like that feature is going to really change Upland and give you like some, who knows what's going to happen. I could see like Bored Apes coming in or something like that, some like super expensive, weird, and you're like, oh, we're over here and you need this to get in. And you're like, well, I can't get in over there because that's expensive or whatever, like, so it's going to get fun and interesting the more the marathon goes, I think. But what is it that I would want to happen? I'm so happy with the way they do things, the way Upland has done things, the way that they answer to their roadmap. They pretty much nail it every year. And I just feel like they beat to their own drum. They do it differently. So I don't know if I have like well, they need this or they need that, no, I'm just like, I'm along for the ride. And yeah, I'm definitely enjoying the process, the rollout of it all.
That's great. As the last words, please tell us a little bit more about this film. What we can expect to see of it, and I just want to say thanks for joining me. For people who are new, you probably didn't know that Lefthouse actually interviewed me on his podcast about 3 years ago when I had the initial idea of creating the Upland Guide. So it's nice to see this come full circle and me
Yeah,
being
that's
able
awesome.
to help share your projects with my community. So thanks for that, and tell us a little bit more about what we can expect.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Rabbit Hole. It's a feature film. It, like I said, it takes place in the crypto space. I would say it's an adventure comedy, holiday film, mystery. It's a little scary around the edges, but most of all, it's funny. If you like The Big Lebowski and Darren Aronofsky's Pie, I think that Rabbit Hole sort of lives somewhere in the middle between those two films. So yeah, 7 o'clock on Monday night is when the screening is happening in the Lefthouse Theater in Upland, over there in Little Hollywood. That's the neighborhood that the theater's in, Little Hollywood. How perfect is that? And it's 470 Peninsula, and it's going to be free. Yeah, it's free for I think it's going to fill up. And if you're not able to get into the theater, don't worry, you'll be able to watch the movie all week. There'll be a link off the main screen in the stage there that you'll be able to click on and watch it at your own time and enjoyment. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. And thanks so much for having me on. It is cool to come full circle after all these 3 years since you were on my show. So
Great. Thank you very
thanks for
much,
doing it.
and
Thanks for having me.
watch the movie.